Chairman, and we will start with roll call, please.
Mrs. Burdick.
Here.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
Here.
Mrs. Hanchett.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Here.
Mrs. Root.
Here.
Mr. Rumfelt.
Here.
Mr. Stockin. 6 present.
Thank you. We have the approval of minutes with a correction. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes with the correction?
So moved. Second.
Rumfelt and Harris, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Tyler Shaw from the Public Health Director.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome, Tyler.
First, monthly report. Just some updates on there. You'll likely see some of our health education events are down, likely due to COVID. We are already starting to plan some events, so starting to get back out in some of the schools, some of the county events. So you'll see our booths. We have a booth outside for National Public Health Week. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check that out. Grab some brochures, some helpful information for your constituents as well. Just some general COVID kind of updates for you. Our percentage of population with the first dose right now for COVID-19 is 50%. Some local data, we've had 10,707 cases to date as of April 5th. Our 7-day positivity as of April 5th was 2.2%. And the prior day, so April 4th, we were at 0% positivity rate for that day. This is based on states data as well. Talked about Public Health Week. The different themes for the week are racism, public health workforce, community collaboration and resilience, health as a human right, closing the health equity gap, climate change, and mental wellness. Some state updates for you. We are awaiting a finalized state budget, of course, and public health increase in funding was proposed in that budget, so we're waiting to see what happens with that. We were advocating for an increase in lead poisoning prevention funds as well. Don't know if that will make it out, through all the conversations back and forth as well, but we're hoping. We are seeing a slight increase across the state, not necessarily in Allegheny County, on flu cases, 41% increase from last week across New York State. We've only seen an increase from 0 cases to 3 in the past week. So it's out there. We know flu's still out there spreading. We do still have flu immunizations available if anyone's interested. So that's out there. Any questions on any of those reports?
Ma'am?
Mr. Harris?
Thanks. 2 COVID questions. One, I saw that, I guess it must be the state is reinitiating mask mandates for particular counties with, is that based on positivity rates?
I have not heard that. I heard they're throwing around ideas of metrics that specific populations will have to meet before they'll reinstitute, but nothing has been locked in yet.
Oh, okay. So I misheard that. Second question, also COVID. A low positivity rate now, but is it your impression that that's in part due to the fact that people are utilizing home tests and not reporting positive results?
In general, no. I mean, we still have positive cases being reported from at homes on a daily basis. So just today we had 6 sitting in there overnight. So people are still reporting it. That doesn't mean that people aren't. So that's a piece of the puzzle. I think the other piece is vaccination, natural immunity. We have all these, and treatment options. We have all these things floating around in the community as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Shaw? Okay, you have an MOE?
Yes. I'm requesting a resolution to accept and appropriate additional grant funding for our emergency preparedness program. The state recently released $2,000 extra, and we'd like to purchase a desk for our emergency preparedness coordinator.
We have a
So
motion.
moved.
Mr. Harris, second?
Second.
Ricketts Swales, all in favor? Any questions? Sorry. Sorry. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Anything else, Tyler?
That's it.
Okay, and like you said, there's all kinds of really good information out there if anybody's interested in looking at it and taking some home with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. We have Edna Kays, Social Services Director. Hi, Edna. Hi.
I wanted to start off by sharing a little bit about temporary assistance. I brought her in yesterday. She was
Did Tyler turn it off? Set me up. But at any rate, Darian Fenton, she's a senior social welfare examiner. She's going to share with you about temporary assistance today.
Yeah, so my name is Darian. I'm a senior social welfare examiner. So I oversee right now 3 socials. We call them examiners. Our social welfare examiners actually carry both SNAP and PA cases on their caseload, but they also process HEAP and emergency HEAP on those. Public assistance, we call it a lot of things. You can call it TA for temporary assistance, PA for public assistance, but there's a few categories that go into it. So the first one is family assistance, and that's for households that have minor children. They can receive up to 60 months of assistance under this category. After 60 months of assistance, they become a safety net non-cash, and that would mean that all of their payments have to be paid direct to a company or to their landlord for their shelter expense. Those applying for cash assistance for a child that's under the age of 21, they are required to file for child support against the non-custodial parent that's not in the household. So that could include the father, the mother, if there's any step-parents or anything like that, they would also be included in that. For family assistance, and this will go into safety net as well, if you're starting with a household of 2, the maximum monthly benefit would be approximately $511, just kind of give you a figure. And that's for if they have heat included in their shelter cost. And then it can go up to like $561 or $569 depending on what their heat source is. For safety net cash assistance, that is for any individual or if it's a married childless couple, they can actually receive up to 24 months of assistance under this category. After that, they then become the safety net non-cash as well, where all of their payments have to be made direct to the companies or the landlords. They have a 45-day wait for assistance, so that means that their cash is not available to them until that 45th day. For a single adult, the maximum monthly benefit would be approximately $373, and that's for the whole month, and that's if their heat is included. If they have a separate heat expense, they can get $431 or a little bit higher depending on what the heat source is. Safety net non-cash, so those are your individuals and your families who have exceeded the maximum months allowed under the family assistance and the safety net cash. All of their payments, again, are made direct to the company and the landlord. If there is any remaining cash after those have been paid, they do get that money in hand. Any individual that's in drug and alcohol and treatment facilities, they have all of their shelter cost and their personal needs allowance that they get each month that is sent right to that company as well. They also, under safety net non-cash, have a 45-day wait. So again, those benefits are not available until that 45th day. All 3 of those categories have a $2,000 resource limit unless they are aged or disabled, and then it increases to $3,000. The resources don't include their first vehicle that is actually exempt up to $12,000. And then their homes and stuff like that, those don't necessarily count against that, but they do have to sign a bond and mortgage for that. And that's basically a lien against that property for the future if they ever sold it. There's the last category, which is emergency assistance. So there's a lot that goes into that as well. There's an EAF, which is emergency aid to families, ESN, which is emergency aid to safety net, and then EAA, which is emergency aid to adults, and those are our SSI recipients. Emergency assistance can be a lot of things, so it can be for homelessness, heat or electric shutoffs, bulk fuel emergencies, which is going to be your propane, your oil, kerosene, coal, all of that stuff. We can help with evictions, assisting purchasing furniture, payment of domestic violence shelter costs, and payments of temp housing. There's, of course, a lot of other things, but those are kind of the general ones we deal with. Public assistance applicants are required to comply with drug and alcohol assessments as well as employment assessments with our Employment and Training Center, which is across the street. If they're deemed employable, they work closely with our employment unit here and the Employment and Training Center as well to stay in compliance. They may be assigned a directed job search, job track, job readiness classes, etc. If they're deemed unable to work, they would be required to provide medical or mental health evaluations or proof that they're participating in drug and alcohol treatment. And they may be required to participate in treatment. They may also be referred to apply for SSI or disability. The goal with all of these requirements is for them to basically become self-sufficient. That's what we're trying to help them do. Households continue to work with our employment unit while they remain active on public assistance, so the entire time they have a worker that kind of works with them and make sure that they're in compliance and that they're doing everything they can to become self-sufficient. Now that households can apply for public assistance on the My Benefits website, we have seen a significant rise in applications. Along with My Benefits, there's a lot of other ways that we can receive applications, such as in person at our front desk. They could be mailed in, dropped off in our Dropbox, faxed in, emailed in, or there's a New York DocSubmit smartphone app that they can actually upload photos of it as well. Interviewing and processing these types of cases can take up a bulk of our examiner's time. An interview for public assistance can sometimes take an hour or longer depending on the circumstances. We're also in constant communication with multiple units, such as child support, fraud, employment, and that's all to make sure that they're in compliance with all of their requirements they're required to meet. We are required to make a determination within 30 days for the majority of cases, but as I said before, those who have a 45-day wait, we can take up to 45 days to make that determination if necessary. That is basically all I have. If there's any questions?
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, that's good information. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
So that was a lot of information. Did you get it?
Got it.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to learn it all, too.
It's nice to have other people from the departments come in and tell us what they do because, you know, they're kind of the nuts and bolts, and thank you. Everything they do is important too, and we want to
Darian,
recognize that.
Darian knows that information well, and she's an excellent employee. Any questions on our report? I'm sure that today, if you looked in your boxes, you all had a Child Abuse Awareness Month packet. If you haven't seen that, Pinwheels campaign, I'm sure that's why your pinwheel's out. Legislator
Edna,
Harris.
Edna,
Yes.
when can we take the pinwheels from the yard out here?
You can take them from the yard on June 1st.
Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
you mean you want one for yourself?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
okay,
You
thanks.
can take a posy.
All right.
We have more we can put out there. Yes, you're more than welcome to those.
We all
So-
want ours back.
You all want yours back? Do you really? Well, Tina, are you out there? Could you bring up some?
Yes, Mr. Healy.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Commissioner, and forgive me, maybe I missed this because I was in a conference outside in the hallway. There was a couple other legislators. But child abuse, is it up in Allegheny County or is it relatively the same? Or?
It's relatively the same. It slowed down during COVID. Actually, we had less reports that came in, but it's steadily picked back up. Over the weekend, I think we brought in 11 reports of alleged child abuse or neglect. So it's picking back up, but it ebbs and flows given the time of year. Often you see toward the end of the school year, you might see reporting pick up at that time. Schools might be concerned about children that might need some sort of community contact during the summer months. You might see it pick up. March is usually a pretty good sized month, which is probably why we're seeing that now. October is also a higher month of the year. So, but it's pretty much on par with previous years.
I know when I worked as a state police investigator down here in Allegheny County, but it was about 40% of our caseload was working with Child Protective Services in Allegheny County. And my hat's off to all the people that work in that field, whatever position that is, because it's very, very emotionally taxing and demanding.
It is. Thank you. Thank you for that recognition. So do you have any questions on our? Okay. If it's okay for me to move forward?
Yep, go ahead.
I would like to request to fill 2 account clerk typist positions. One is due to a resignation and one is due to a retirement.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Do we have to split them up, County Attorney?
No, you do not need to. You can consider them both together.
Thank you. I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And you have a request for some contracts?
Yes, so we have a requesting a resolution to approve from March 1st, 22nd to December 31st, 22nd, a contract with Catholic Charities to support another QI representative for our evaluations for Qualified Residential Treatment Program. We're just really trying to flood that so that if we need to have those, since we have such a limited amount of time to get those evaluations done, that we have that service available to us.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Harris, second. Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And the next one, request to apply for Victims of Crime Act.
Yep, we are asking that allow the CAC to apply for the Victim and Witness Assistance Grant, to allow the CAC to increase its mental health services by recruiting and hiring one additional FTE mental health therapist. Remember that those positions are contracted through Ardent. And we are looking to be able to expand the use of the mobile unit for individuals. Also, just so you know, the mobile unit funding in the future is going to be based off of, the amount will be based off other funding that we can find for the mobile unit. So that's why we added the mobile unit into this grant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Rumfeld. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. The next,
So I'm asking for a reappropriation of the grant money not spent in 2021, overlapping the grant fiscal year for the ESG funding. This is CARES Act Emergency Solutions Grant. It was very difficult to utilize that funding due to the eviction moratorium. So we're asking for the ability to reappropriate that grant money.
Rumfeld will move.
second Hanchett. Any questions?
Madam,
Yes, Mr. Harris.
can you detail the purpose of this funding again?
The purpose of this funding is to help people that have been evicted from their homes or evicted from their rental property, to help relocate them and find new housing for them.
So there was an eviction moratorium, but that was a state moratorium, and this is federal dollars. That's the problem. Like there may be other states that didn't have eviction moratoriums, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what are you going to do? Just wait until is the moratorium lifted now?
Yes. I mean, there's still a bit of the moratorium, but you can evict, but only if it's not based on a COVID-related issue. If it's based on, like, the way the tenant cares for the property, or the tenant now is not, it's not paying rent due to a COVID issue, or there's disruptions, the police come, whatever the other issues may be that are not COVID-related, yes, you can evict.
Okay. And it's fine for this. Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And the contract for Northwoods?
So the next two items I'm going to remove from the agenda. I feel that we need to do a little bit more homework and to make a point to the county attorney. We're going to sit down and bring that back to you in a couple of months. What am I doing? I appreciate Carissa very much.
So we will look for that in the future.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Edna? Thank you, Edna.
Thank you. I'm not going to turn this off for you.
Officer of the Aging, and Anita cannot be here today. She, I believe, is at a conference.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Black. I am the accountant at the Office for the Aging, and I am filling in for Anita, who is in the Thousand Islands at the Leadership Conference. So on our monthly report, a couple of things I do want to highlight. Again, our PC1, which is Personal Care Level 1 Housekeeping Chore Services, is up 15% from the same month last year, and it is up from last month as well. Again, that is in part due to the laborers that we hired who perform PC1 services. But our PC2 also is up almost 9% from the same month last year. So we are increasing our home care that we're getting out into the community. Our in-home contact and support is a huge increase, because that was due to the COVID test that we did distribute to all the home delivered meals clients, as well as the people who came in for tax appointments, and generally seniors who needed them. And we've also had an increase in our caregiver services, part of our Alzheimer's grant. I do have Lynn Oyer here with me, who's going to speak on that in a little bit. And then I did want to just highlight that our tax program did start as of the 7th of January. And between the 7th of January and the 11th of March, we have filed 145 total returns for a total amount refunded of $142,656. The average refund that we process is about $1,080.
Very
So that is
good.
a really great program for the seniors in our county. And then also for our nutrition education, we have been doing a Facebook Live events with our registered dietitian, Erica Zerkowski. The March event so far has received over 500 views. So every month we do them, they are getting a little bigger.
Very good. They're good. I've watched them.
I really like them.
Yeah.
Are there any questions on the monthly report?
All right, you have a request to create and fill driver.
Yes, we do. We are looking to create another substitute Meals on Wheels driver position, and that is just because we use that for coverage if someone is sick, has a doctor's appointment, or is out on medical leave, to ensure that we do have enough coverage so we can try to avoid pulling people out of the office to deliver meals,
So moved.
which none
Second.
of us mind.
Did we have a second?
Rumpfelt.
Mr. Rumpfelt, okay. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Okay, and then the request to fill 2 luncheon center managers?
Oh, I actually had a second request to fill a driver. There was a
Yep,
create
sorry.
and fill
Yep.
and then a just a fill.
Yes, sorry.
And this is the same, it's a substitute position that is currently open.
Okay, and we have a motion for that? So moved. Mrs. Ricketts Swales, second? Second. Mrs. Hanchett, any questions? All in favor? Carried. Okay, now we go to the luncheon center.
We are requesting to fill 2 luncheon center managers, one in Belmont and one in Wellsville. Both of our current managers are planning on retiring, or the Belmont site manager did retire as of April 1st.
Motion?
So moved.
Mr. Rumpfelt, second? Second. Mrs. Ricketts Swales, any questions? All in favor? Aye. Carried. And then,
I do have a comment.
yes, Mrs. Hanchett.
I know many of us had an opportunity to go for a ride on the Meals on Wheels. I was a little bit separate, but I just wanted to thank you for what your office does and what those drivers do and how caring they are. And, you know, sometimes our seniors, those are the only people they see. And they look forward to it, and they do the extra things for them. You know, if they need some groceries, they'll go get them for them or do special things. So it was very impressive, and thank you for that opportunity.
I do want to thank everyone that participated in the March for Meals or will be participating. I think there's a few people that haven't had the chance to do it yet, but they will. We actually did have Congressman Tom Reed came, and he presented us with a proclamation.
Very nice.
So we do have that, and he was there to enjoy the festivities as well.
Very good. Okay, now we've got a bunch of reappropriations of ARP monies.
Yes, these are modified. We brought them to committee last month, and after meeting with the treasurer, we did have to make a few modifications to make them correct. The first is for congregate meals, and this will support the luncheon centers as well as the Go and Dine program.
So moved.
Mr. Harris. Second, Mrs. Ricketts Swales. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
The next is the American Rescue Plan funding. Which one is this?
Caregiver services.
Okay. Yep, the caregiver services as just a home care support as well as the PERS, personal emergency response.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Harris.
Second.
Second, Mr. Rumfeld. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
The next is for home delivered meals. This one specifically does run through September of this year. The bulk of the other ones do run through September of 2024, though we anticipate expending them before that.
So moved.
Mr. Harris, second.
Second.
Mrs. Ricketts Wales, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Home delivered meal services, 6.
Yep, this is just, again, along the same lines, home delivered meal services. Will cover maintenance and repairs on our vans, meals itself, and also our registered dietitian fees.
So moved.
Second.
Harris and Rumfelt, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
The next is for evidence-based services, and this is for classes and seminars that we can do with the public that are evidence-based as defined by the state.
Mr. Ricketts Wales, second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
The next is for support services and also in-home contact. These would be for mileage for our transportation program, our friendly visitors, and our handyman services, as well as postage for mailing out supplies and any associated fees.
Motion?
So moved.
Ricketts Wales, second.
Root, second.
Mrs. Root, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
And the last of the reappropriation is a vaccine funding for COVID-19, and that we do use to pay for our staff who set up vaccine appointments for seniors who are looking to get vaccinated or boosted.
Motion by Mrs. Ricketts Wales, second.
Second.
Mr. Rumfelt, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And then you have some requests.
Yes, we do request to enter into a contract with Houghton Rehab and Nursing. That is for overnight respite care if someone needs to go into the nursing home for a week at a time or even for a few days to allow respite to their caregiver.
So moved. Mrs. Ricketts Wales, second. Root. Mrs. Root, any questions? All in favor? Aye. Carried.
And then the next is a request to enter into contract with iCircle Services of the Finger Lakes. They are a managed long-term care provider, similar to the 3 or 4 we already have on contract. They would reimburse us at a rate of $11 per meal for home delivered as well as for congregate meals.
Motion?
So moved.
Mrs. Ricketts Wales, second.
Second.
Mr. Rumfelt, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
And then
And the last
finally,
one.
we do have a request to amend the contract with Life Station, who is our personal emergency response provider. We are requesting that the contract be amended to terminate on July 31st to allow us time to review the bids in response to the RFP that we did put out.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? So you may be looking at switching
We
companies?
have sent out the bids, and we're going to be opening them, I believe, the end of this month.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
All right, well, I thank you so much. Does anyone have any other
Thank you,
questions for
Kimberly.
me? Then I will leave you with Lynn Oyer, who is here to discuss our Alzheimer's disease caregiver support initiative.
Great, thank you.
I did bring you all brochures and information too. I don't know if I just leave it in the back for you or whatever. Before I start the Alzheimer's, I did want to tell you about this other program that's going on, and because there's room in my office, it's in my office. We have electronic pets that were given to us by the state. They move and they react to you. So I have dogs and, well, I'm out of kitties, but I have puppies and kittens, and now we're gonna get some walker squawkers, some birds or something, so they can find their walkers. So I just wanted to tell you that has been an awesome program. I kind of won't let them take it away from me because I get to put a smile on someone's face when they call and go, my dog died, can I have one of your dogs? So it just works out really nice that it came because of COVID, but they're keeping it going and it's really neat. And it's really helpful for my dementia people. So I run the program through in partnership with Alzheimer's Association. Their piece is the education and to run support groups, but I facilitate the support groups. In fact, I left my support group today a little early. I have 2 support groups in Allegheny County. One is a book club that we meet online on the first Wednesday of the month, and I told them I would tell them how great they were today. I said, I have to go tell everybody how awesome our group is. And they're from all over the state because it's online. So I've got some from the other counties, but there's some local people too. And then I have on the third Tuesday of the month, we meet in person at the Office for the Aging. And, oh, they missed it awful when during COVID, and when we came back, they were really glad to see each other. And I've got new people coming because they realized they needed that support. So basically, the program is set up to help any caregiver of any kind that's caring for a loved one with any kind of dementia. It's called Alzheimer's just because that's the most famous one or the highest one. But there's all different kinds of dementia. So the caregivers can be of any age. I work with grandchildren. And basically, the caregiver is my client. I get to take them in and help them sort this awful journey they're on, and try to make it better. And I can offer them, so thank you very much, respite. And one of the ways is with the nursing home. In fact, I have somebody waiting to go on a trip with their family. Instead of having their family take care of her, then she can go into the nursing home for the 5 days that's allowed with the program. So thank you for making Houghton's contract done so I can do that in May. And then there's in-home respite where a lot of people will get aids. That's why the AIDS numbers are up, because if they have an aid, I take them and I put them to work with these families that just could use the 2 hours. Most of them get 2 hours twice a week. And it's amazing. They go, I get to go to the grocery store without running. And, it's just a really good thing. And then we also can help pay for daycare at Total Senior Care. We have a contract with them also. I'm sure you approved. And I don't have a lot of people doing that right now, but I did last fall. It was a lot of people. They were ready to get out. So I thank you for that. And then the other piece is I can offer them safety services. And the ones that we picked was the Life Alert button, and I do night lights and door alarms. So when there's a wandering one, I can just go, here's a door alarm, and they hook it on their doors, and they can hear them when they go out. And the night lights was just so that somebody could get something if they weren't ready for the button. But I've helped a lot of people that are in the early stages stay home just a little bit longer by themselves by having the button. And then as the disease has progressed, I see the caregivers want it because they can't push the button anymore, so the caregiver wears it. So it's been a really nice program that I can help these people in this journey they're on. And it's not always a fun journey, but at least they know that I can connect them to the services they need. So, any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
I can't tell you enough how Lynn has helped my own personal family through this struggle. So, and she does a great job, and she's wonderful. So,
Thank you. I'll just put the brochures back here and leave them if DSS wants to put them on their floor too.
Thank
so
you,
that
Lynn.
They know that they can get a hold of me.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I really enjoy it, as you can tell. I've been working for you guys for 23 years, so.
And I have one of those dogs.
really?
Well, I bought it for my dad, and
Aren't they great?
he didn't like it. He thought I was treating him like a baby. So I still have it, but I may donate it back to you guys. I bought it separate, but yeah.
Yeah.
They're really kind of cool. They're really.
They are. And this lady had come in and she goes, my dog died, and she saw my dog. She says, can I have one? Yeah, you can have one. Just fill out this paperwork. We'll get you set up. She was so happy. She went home with this big smile on
Yeah,
her face.
they're really, they're neat.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, do we have any old business? Any new business? Good to the order? And I will call for motion for adjournment.
Madam Chairman, will there appear to be no other business to come before the Human Services Committee? I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
We have a second. Second, Mrs. Ricketts Swales, all in favor? Aye. Carried. Thank you all.